What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see we actually got 21 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get 21 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, which should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $194 just yesterday. Another member who won $48 for the 7th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description. So go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group. And I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. All right, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So first we're going to be talking about is Devin Vassell for 17.5 points, and this one is for less. Now look at Vassell, we've actually seen him go in the under in 2 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Miami Heat. Now we look at the Miami Heat, it is going to be a very exciting matchup, but we also do see that the Miami Heat do rank 7th when it comes to points allowed. So they rank very high when it comes to restricting points, and they also rank very high when it comes to restricting points to the guard position. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here for someone like Devin Vassell. So when we look at someone like Vassell, not only is he a fantastic player, but he doesn't have that high of a usage rate in this department. Okay, yes, he does average around 17-16 points per game, but his average over the last 5 is 17. It's slightly below this line. He's coming off a game where he did only have 12 points, and we definitely seen his usage rate continue to decrease as time goes on. And with a matchup like Miami, we definitely do like the under for this situation here, due to the fact that when we look at both teams, Spurs and Miami do a great job at actually slowing down the pace of certain teams, and with Spurs being one of them who are a little bit faster paced, we actually see Spurs coming down to Miami's pace and slowing down the game quite a lot. So because of that, we could definitely see Devin Vassell not get the same amount of usage rate out there on the floor when it comes to points. We may see him get a little bit less volume, which should lead to less points as well. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here. This one's kind of a no-brainer to us because all signs point towards the under. So Devin Vassell, 17.5 points for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about none other than Keldon Johnson. So when we look at Keldon Johnson, we actually seen him do a great job all season. However, this one is for 12.5 points, and this one actually is for less. Now we look at someone like Keldon Johnson, we've actually seen him go on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games, which is great to see, and they do face off against none other than Miami Heat as well. So as you all know, Keldon Johnson, teammate of Devin Vassell. Now the reason why we do like the under for this, like we mentioned before, Miami Heat do rank 7th when it comes to points allowed, so that's very good there. But on top of that, when we look at someone like Keldon Johnson, he tends to have not that high of a usage rate when it comes to points. Because of that, we definitely seen him go on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games, but on top of that, we've actually seen him average over the last 5 only 10.8, so significantly below this line as well. When we look at his most recent game, yes, he did get 24 points, but we see that being a bit of an outlier game. It's pushed this line a little bit too high because of that one big breakout game that he did have, but now we see a lot more value actually to go on the under in this situation here, and that's why we are definitely sticking to it. So we do very much like the under for this situation here for someone like Keldon Johnson, and with the matchup against Miami, we are definitely sticking to the under for this situation here, due to the fact that we are expecting also a slower pace like we mentioned with the Devin Vassell pick. So because of that, we could see less volume as well from Keldon Johnson. So because of all those reasons, when we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have him favored for the under as well. All signs point towards the under for this one. So Keldon Johnson, 12.5 points for less, I think is a great pick. So getting to the next pick, we're going to be talking about none other than De'Aaron Fox. So De'Aaron Fox, great players we all know, and this one is for 4.5 rebounds, and this one is for less. Now I look at someone like De'Aaron Fox, we've actually seen him go on the under in actually 2 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than Oklahoma City Thunder. Now I look at Oklahoma City Thunder, we do see that they rank 27th when it comes to rebounds allowed, so surprisingly low. However, the reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here is that when it comes to Oklahoma City Thunder, they actually do do a really good job at restricting rebounds to the guard position. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here. And we look at his average over the last 5 games, we've actually seen him average 4 as well. Now, he has a most recent game where he did get 8 rebounds. So, a lot of the line has actually been pushed up just due to that one big game that he had. But we tend to see that it has brought this line a little bit too high, that now is a lot more value actually to go on the under, because even the other times he has been able to go on the over, he only made it over by 0.5. So it's not really convincing enough to us. De'Aaron Fox doesn't have the highest usage rate in the rebounds on a consistent basis, and especially against Oklahoma City Thunder, who do a great job at actually restricting rebounds. We definitely see OKC defending him very, very well and restricting it as much as possible. So when we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have him favored for the under as well. So it works out in our favor there. So for that reason, keep an eye out for the under, because we definitely are sticking to that. So De'Aaron Fox, 4.5 rebounds for less, I think is a great pick. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So first player going to be talking about is none other than Pascal Siakam, and he's been doing a fantastic job because he has been averaging actually 20.5 points, also grabbing 7.3 rebounds, dishing out 3.5 assists, while also shooting 53.2% from the field. So Pascal Siakam has done a fantastic job. He did recently actually also get named an All-Star reserve, but on top of that, when it comes to the Indiana Pacers, they do have themselves a great matchup against the Atlanta Hawks. Now we look at the Atlanta Hawks, they do have a record of 22-26, while the Pacers have a record of 26-20. And when we look at Atlanta Hawks, we see that they rank 27th when it comes to points allowed, 25th when it comes to assists allowed, and when it comes to rebounds allowed, they do rank 23rd. So they rank very, very low in all 3 categories, and for that reason, we do very much like the over for this situation for someone like Pascal Siakam. Now, I definitely would focus a lot more on points and rebounds for someone like Pascal, but because of his versatility out there on the floor, we definitely see him being able to go on the over in all 3 facets. Now, when it comes to Indiana as well, and also the Atlanta Hawks matchup, we are expecting a good amount of pace from this game, so we should see a lot of volume from Pascal, which can definitely lead him to being able to go on the over in this situation here. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for the over for someone like Pascal, especially when it comes to this matchup against the Indiana Pacers and Atlanta Hawks game. So definitely keep an eye out for his line. I would definitely focus a lot more on points and rebounds, but if his line is under his averages, definitely look to go on the over, so I definitely see a lot of great value there. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Jordan Clarkson from the Utah Jazz, who has been averaging 15.9 points, 3.2 rebounds, 3.8 assists, while also shooting 41.2% from the field. So he's done a fantastic job for the Utah Jazz, and the Utah Jazz have themselves a great matchup against the Orlando Magic. Now, as you all know, when we look at the Orlando Magic, we see that they rank 2nd when it comes to points allowed, 1st when it comes to assists allowed, and when it comes to rebounds allowed, they also do rank 2nd as well. And because of that, we do very much like the under for this situation here for someone like Jordan Clarkson. Now, a big reason being, besides Orlando Magic ranking very high when it comes to restricting points, rebounds, and assists, is that when it comes to Clarkson is a point guard, and Jazz, although, he does run that point guard position, Magic do a very, very good job, especially against the point guard position. So we definitely see Magic doing a great job restricting him as much as possible. Now, so far, Magic have a record of 24-25. Jazz have a record of 10-36. So Jazz has been, playing pretty poorly there. Now, on top of this, when we look at Orlando Magic, we are also expecting a blowout situation in this game. If it does lead to a blowout situation, we could see Jordan Clarkson get out of the game early, which should lead him also to less usage rate out there. So with all things being said, with Clarkson having a point guard position or running that point guard position, and Orlando doing a great job at restricting that, on top of that, the fact that a blowout situation could be possible, all these things combined, we definitely see someone like Clarkson going on the under here, especially with this sort of matchup. So on top of that, when we look at the pace of this game, Orlando Magic are a very, very slow paced team, and we tend to see them do a really good job at slowing faster paced teams down. So we definitely see that happening in the Utah Jazz. So, we see Jazz coming down to Orlando Magic's pace, and we could see Clarkson not get the same amount of volume that he usually sees. So keep an eye out for Clarkson's line. I see a lot of value there to go on the under, but like I always said, keep an eye eye out for the line first. If it is too close to his averages, then definitely look to go on the under. Now, getting to the next player, we're going to be talking about Fred VanVleet. So, as you all know, Fred VanVleet, great player. He does run the point guard position for this Rockets team, and he's been averaging 14.9 points, 4 rebounds, 5.9 assists, while also shooting 38.8% from the field. So he's done a great job for none other than the Houston Rockets, and the Houston Rockets do have themselves a great matchup against none other than the actual Brooklyn Nets. Now we look at the Brooklyn Nets, we see that they have a record of 15-33. Also, the Houston Rockets have a record of 32-15. So a bit of a discrepancy there between both records. Now, when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets, we do actually see when it comes to points allowed, we see that they rank 16th. Moving on into assists allowed, we also see that the Brooklyn Nets do rank 21st, and then rebounds allowed, the Nets also, do rank 9th. So pretty mid-tier in all three categories. When it comes to someone like Fred VanVleet, we definitely see him going on the over here due to the fact that Brooklyn don't really rank too high in either category, besides a little bit higher in rebounds. However, when we also look at Fred VanVleet, he is a point guard, and Brooklyn Nets do a very poor job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the point guard position. So we definitely see someone like VanVleet being able to take advantage of this. Now, VanVleet doesn't have the highest usage rate in this team, but he definitely has enough usage rate to see him go on the over, and that's why we are definitely liking the over for this situation here.